I'm going to do something a little different this week. And here's my scroll that I showed you in the very first episode. It actually was longer. I started ripping it apart. And then I said, oh, I need to turn the camera on. So originally I sewed a bunch of pieces together and created this long scroll. And I started to work directly on one of these patches. And it was just too cumbersome for me because the camera is about 14 inches away from my hands and it was a lot of fabric flipping around. So then I switched to working on a separate little piece of cloth. And I have to be honest, I really did enjoy that. It gave me the freedom to move around, and it also gave me some inspiration and ideas on how I wanted to go forward with this. And I decided to rip my scroll up. Okay, don't gasp, but I don't have a problem changing things up. So this is part of my original scroll, and this was attached. And I didn't turn the camera on right away, so I apologize. But I decided to rip it up and use the pieces. And I am going to still use my scroll, but what I want to do is get some dimension and some texture on this thing. And so I am going to build layers. So in order to build texture onto my scroll strip, I had to find some interesting cloth. So I happened to have a box of random bits and pieces, and I rooted through there and I found some lace. I found some interfacing from a tie, an old pocket from some clothing I took apart, found some of this cotton string, and you can see what I found here. So I'm going to use this and start to create layers. Scroll that I started to take apart. I have another piece over here that's bigger. Yeah, maybe I'll do the bigger one. Now let's do the smaller one because I do want to do some stitching in this video too. So, all right, stay in the middle, Jeri. We are very zoomed in. So this is my thought. Here's this lovely little piece of, I don't know what it is. Looks like it was a doily at some point, but it's got creases in it and it's got some stains on it. So I'm going to leave it just like that. And just momentarily, I'm going to let it, I like things when they hang off the edge a little. And since I'm using that stick, it's not really a specific size. So I just want to pin this on there and see what I think. I'm using these little applique pins. So I really like that. And then this is a piece of interfacing. I think it was probably along a collar or something because it's on the bias. I don't know if you can see that. So, so this is the one that started all the problems here. So let's see how this one looks on here. Yes, see, I like that because this will stick out and this will stick out. And don't be afraid to cover up work that you did already. You know, it reminds me of mixed media painting. When you're painting, if any of you do mixed media too, you put layers. You put layers of paint, and the layers is what creates the beauty and the texture. So why not do it? Gosh, I love that one too. Why not do it with your cloth? And let's see, where's that little piece that I had? What? Here it is. This is the little piece that I ripped. Yeah, I can't really tell which is the right and wrong side unless I look for the knot. So this is the right side. So see what I'm doing? I'm just playing. So that's, that's what I want you to do. I want you to try just playing. I think I'm going to flip this around because you see there's a little bit of that one that I ripped off down there, and I think that would be nice to hang off the edge so that we can see it. And I love this. I love this fluffy. Okay, so let's do that. And then what if we put this piece on top now? Doesn't that look much better? So look, the stitching is showing, some of the slow stitching is showing down there. I like this. Okay, so this is going to happen right here. All right, so there's two ways of going about this. We can take this off and stitch this down, or, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna hack at this. I don't want this to be straight. Or we can just pin it and now go back and stitch it. So we can do it either way. So you kind of let your intuition talk to you, and my intuition is telling me to get out a needle and thread and stitch this patch down, and then go back and address what's behind it. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to use some, I don't even know what color that is, but I'm going to use some embroidery floss, 2 strands, and I'm auditioning this needle. That's what I do when I'm going to do stitching. I have a pin cushion here, and I just grab a needle that looks good and I try it. And if it doesn't work, then I try another one. And I think I could easily lose my knot in between these layers. So that's what I'm going to do instead of coming up from the back. I think I'm going to just kind of get some stitches in around the edge. And this needle's not good. Okay, so let me change it out. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to like fool around with your needles till you find something that you love. All right, so I'm just gonna go around and get this basted down. Oh, I could invisible baste it too. Oh, that's a really good idea, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that this time because I've already made a decision to do this. So I'm just going to go around, and you don't need to watch me do this whole thing. I'm just going to go around the outside edge. So I decided to fast forward through this because as I was stitching, I really wasn't talking, and just do a voiceover on top of it. So you can see I'm doing the running stitch, which I love. It's very relaxing, and I think it's a good way to get this embroidered patch put down. But I was thinking, because one thought always leads to another with me, and this whole project is really morphing, and I'm tickled to death about it. What I was thinking was you could take your scroll, say you made, a 5-foot long scroll, whatever, and start embellishing little bits of cloth onto the scroll, and then make a few embroidered patches, and then go back and add them later on top of all that. So I think that's what I'm going to do after I finish this one. I'm just going to start laying down some interesting pieces of lace, and so I will either invisible baste those down, or I'll do some stitches. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you cover up some of your previous work, because little bits of it might peek out and it will be so interesting. This is, to me, this is like a collage, a fabric collage, and I think it's going to be wonderful. I have a story for you while I finish stitching this, this basting thing around the outside edge with a running stitch. I did the flea market here at the campground over the weekend, and I really just did it to meet people and, chit-chat and stuff. And I brought my eco prints, and people loved them. And in particular, this one gentleman, he carves leaves. He was like, "What is this?" And I said, "Well, they're leaves, from the campground, so they're from Cape May." And I told him, how I made them, blah, blah. And he bought one. He thought they were great. So we were, since we were talking, I said, ooh, your carved leaves sound really good. So he carves them out of wood and he carves them on leather. So I said, ooh, do you have any with you? And he said, yes. He was a visitor. And he said, yes, I do. And I said, oh, can I come over to your camper, when I'm finished here and see? And he said, yes. So I went, oh my gosh, he was lovely. And his wife was lovely. And she makes amulet purses. And that's what I'm missing. I'm missing that interaction with like-minded creatives, So this other lady was at the flea market. She had set up a table, and she was selling some crocheted. Have you seen the little crocheted animals, like a little crocheted rooster or chicken, a little crocheted mushroom? They're made with the thicker yarns and stuff, and they're stuffed. They're so cute. Anyway, she was selling a bunch of them, and she had a crochet thing on her lap, and I said, oh, what are you making? And she said, I'm making a beach cover-up. And I said, well, that's lovely. It really was pretty. I said, that's lovely. And then she had in her bag, she had all these granny squares, and she was making I'm stuck there, something stuck. She was making some kind of a vest or jacket. Oh, it's a knot on the back. So I said, I have a granny square thing going too, and I do. It's at home in Pennsylvania. And I started it, gosh, I can't tell you how many years ago I started it. But I always wanted to make a vest, like a granny square vest, because I wear a lot of vests. I don't know if you noticed that on my YouTube channel. I just like them. They feel comfortable. So, and they keep me warm. Anyway, we just hit it off. And I've seen her in this campground for I can't tell you how many years I've seen her. And I don't know. It just never occurred to me to like chat with her. Like she was never doing anything creative probably. And she looks like she's quite a bit younger than me. But anyway, we started talking and we hit it off. And I said, I think you're my new best friend. Turns out she doesn't live very far from me in Pennsylvania either. And I said, oh, wouldn't it be fun? I said, if we did a little thing here in the campground and we got together and we all did like stitched on something or something creative. I don't care. Could be sewing, could be knitting. I don't really care what it is. Just to be with other creators. She said, oh, I love that idea. So that's what we're doing. And I already picked a day. We're going to do it on a Wednesday. She was telling me she does work. And she lives down here all summer though. Oh gosh, I just love that. So, but she works. So I said, well, we'll do it in the evening. We'll do it over at my site. I have a tent you've seen on my video. I don't think I'm going to cut that off. And I said, everybody can bring their own beverage and their own chair if we need extra chairs. I don't want to make myself crazy because if I do, I won't want to do it. So I said, it'll be very laid back. And yeah, I think I'm going to tie this off and get another thread. I just had a thought. She is so excited about it. So I told my daughter, my kids are all very creative. And you see, I'm just tying this off like a regular thing. That's interesting. On the back. My daughter's really excited about it too. She does a lot of stuff. Both my daughters do. And then my daughter has a friend that just bought a camper down here. And she's really interested in it too. And her friend has a friend. And I think we're going to have a blast. So if they don't mind, I think what I'm going to do is ask them. This is how I keep my little threads in my dot basket. I'm going to ask them if I could videotape them. I think I'm going to use this one up here. So I'm really excited about it. My daughter has to go, Amanda, she's my oldest. She has to go home tomorrow. She's bumming, but her kids, one of my littles, Lucy, is in a recital, a dance recital. And, oh, that's it. It was cut off there. And so she has to go home and do that when she comes back. we're going to do, look, be proud of me, one at a time. When she comes back, we're going to do a get-together. I have to look at the calendar. Let's see, I think it's going to be next week or the week after. Gosh, I don't know. I'm losing track of time down here. So, yeah, so that's good. That's going to be super good fun. Ugh, that is what I have been craving, is community. And, okay, speaking of community, I did a thing. I say sometimes because I don't want to say what I'm thinking right away. So I did a thing, and I am going to make a special video for it, but if you're one of the people that are following my stitch along, then you'll know about it first. The plan is to stitch these creases down. So I'm going to start up here. Just spit it out, Jer. I'm thinking of two things at once. I'm thinking, how am I going to stitch this? Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just stitch this like a little crazy. I started a Facebook group. Yeah, that's what I did. I've been thinking about it. In fact, I thought of a name, Aging Creatively and Gratefully is the name. And I actually took the name, I took the Facebook group page name back in February, thinking that maybe I would want to do this. And I've been a little reluctant. I'll talk more about it when I make a video, but I've been a little reluctant because the YouTube videos do take a lot of time and energy and thought. And so I was afraid that I would just be taking on too much. But I did mention it in one of my videos recently. Maybe you heard me. And an old dear friend said, I'll help you. So I said, really? So I said, okay. So she's going to help me. And I actually did open the page already. It's not a page, it's a group. It's a private group. Unless you're a member, you won't be able to read the post and you won't be able to see who's in there. And because I don't know what we're going to talk about. And yeah, you have to answer a bunch of questions. And we did that because we want to make sure that you're humans and not just some computer generated thing. You have to be so careful. It's too bad nowadays. I'm going to do that again on this side. But you have to answer questions, and you also have to agree with our rules, which are not that big of a deal. It's, being respectful, that kind of thing. And if you don't answer the questions and you don't agree with the rules, we can't approve your membership. So please do that if you want to be in the little community. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. It's basically going to be a community of peers, and we are going to help one another. I'm not going to be the boss. We're all going to kind of like be in there together. And yeah, I'm trying to think. What should I do? Should I do any more? No, I should go back and do over here. And I'm going to end this off and do that because I don't want to jump across. Or maybe I'll just go through here. So I'm really looking forward to it. I have a newsletter, and I sent out a message this morning. I did send out a little newsletter. I don't do them every Monday, but if I do them, I try to do them on Mondays. And I told people about it in the newsletter, and I've already gotten a few people that signed up. But if you're watching my video right now, if you didn't get approved, it was because you either didn't A, answer the questions, or B, you didn't agree to the rules. So please go back and do that, because I don't want anybody being left out if you want to be in there. Yeah, we're going to do a little folding here. So you see what I'm doing? You get this? Now, if this is not your cup of tea, because it's not for everybody, this kind of messy look, then do something else. Follow your own heart. So those are my stories. Yeah, I'm so happy about the Facebook group. So I did have somebody else then on my YouTube channel. Oh, and you have to be a subscriber. Obviously you are if you're watching my video. Well, maybe you're not a subscriber, but you have to click the subscriber button and be a subscriber in order to be in the Facebook community. So, yeah, what was I going to say? 'Cause something just jumped right out of my head. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I do have another story. So I did make a video. I'm going to do an extra video. I think I'm going to do an extra. Am I going to do an extra video? All right. I think I'm concentrating on what I'm doing and trying to talk at the same time, and that's not working. So I think I'm just going to do a little slow stitching right here. And then I'm going to get a piece of scrap fabric. I think I'm going to go up further here. See, there's no rules here. See how cute this is all looking? Yes, I love it. I'm going to just tack this down a little bit. Without smashing it totally down. Oh, you might be wondering what we're going to do in the Facebook group. We're going to share. You're going to show me all the things you're making, because I want, I'm trying to inspire you to create and keep moving. So you're going to show those, and you're going to talk amongst yourselves. Yes. And if somebody needs help or has questions, we're all going to pitch in and help one another. I think it's going to be amazing. All right, I'm going to end this thread, and I'm going to get a piece of, yeah. See, this is more what I had in mind for this. Okay? And I'm going to go back and stitch in here and stuff, or maybe not, I don't know, but I like it so much. I can take this pin out now. I like it so much better. What do you think? Yeah. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so this week's embroidery stitch is not really going to be embroidery. It's going to be a textural patch. That's what this is. That's what I'm calling it. And I came up with the idea of it when I was reconfiguring my scroll, and I was cutting it apart and putting it back together, and I was thinking about the stitches that I would like to see on it and the different pieces of cloth, etc. And I thought, I think, because for me, this scroll is an inspirational piece. This is for me to open up when I'm feeling uninspired, and to see the different embroidery stitches, the different slow stitches, the different techniques. So it's an inspirational scroll. This is an inspirational patch that is going to go on the inspirational scroll. And if you did a book or some other form of this project, you can certainly add it to that. But I've been thinking about all the different slow stitches that I see people doing, and when I sit down to do my own work, I basically go brain dead. So that's why this inspirational scroll is going to be perfect. Now this patch is going to be some stitches that I have seen that I totally forgot about that I wanted to try at some point or another. So I would suggest you go on Pinterest and take a look, go on Instagram and look up some of the slow stitch people on there and see what they're doing, and then create your inspirational patch that you can refer back to. Now, in the meanwhile, I've got one strand of embroidery floss here. Oh, before we start on that, I wanted to tell you about this piece of cloth right here. So I started out with this, and I wanted something like this because I wanted something that had visual texture. So I did a 5-minute technique on this and got this. And if you don't want, if you're not up for spending all day doing a lot of different cloth and you just need one piece of something for a project you're working on, and I would say instant gratification, this is for you. So I did make a separate video on this. I'll link it above and you can watch it. It's a really quick video and this is a really quick technique. So I'm putting 2 pieces of cloth, and I eco-printed this piece last year. Looks a little greenish, isn't that interesting? I'm just going to invisible baste these 2 pieces together because it is just always, it just always feels better when I'm stitching and there's 2 pieces of cloth together. So I'm just invisible basting this to give me a nice background for my inspirational stitches. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to tell you a little story, and I might not finish going all the way around because the story is pretty short. Or maybe not. You know how I am. I talk too much. So, oh, I just love that. Okay, so anyhow, yesterday I was videoing, you know, I was taping a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get ahead of things and make, all right, this is going to be more than 30 seconds. I'm trying to get ahead of things and make extra videos so that if the kids say to me, hey, Mimi, will you take me to the pool? I don't feel like guilty and I can take them to the pool. I have not had to say no to them so far, so don't feel bad. But anyway, yesterday I was working, doing videos. I was trying to get a couple videos banked, you might say. I'm having a hard time since I got down here. I have not been able to get extra videos made, which is what I was hoping I would do. You would think I'd be able to do that because I'm here by myself, right? Brian's not even here. I don't have to cook dinner or anything. Sidebar. Okay, so yes, back to yesterday, and see, I'm dragging this out so I can get all the way around this. I was making a couple of videos yesterday. I was so happy. Don't ask me why. So I have this ring light thing. I'll have to show it to you sometime unless you've seen it over my shoulder. So I have this ring light thing and my phone fits in it. And don't ask me why. I had the phone upside down in it. I don't know why. The very first time I put it in, I stood there and said, should I have the screen up or down? Well, the very first time I did recordings with my phone, because I have a camera at home, I had the screen facing down because when I first started, I had this ring light up much higher. And, you know, at the time, I was trying to figure out where to put the ring light, how to set the whole thing up. Well, as the ring light started to come down and down and down, closer and closer to my table space, you're about 14 inches above my hands right now. So, you know, it's kind of tight. I have to really stay pretty still. Anyway, as it was coming down, it never occurred to me to flip the phone over so I could now see the screen, because now all I got to do is pick my head up and look. I can see the top of the screen now because you know what I'm saying, right? So guess what I did yesterday? Yeah, I videoed the ceiling. I always check. I always stick my head under. I think we got all the way around. I always stick my head under the camera, or the phone, I should say, and double check that, you know, everything's going in the right direction, because, you know, you have to have it go this way and you can't be vertical. You have to be horizontal and all this other nonsense. I don't know why I didn't look. I didn't look, and I did over an hour's worth of videos. I was so upset when I saw that. So I told you stories. I did all kinds of stuff. Now it's basted. It's ready for our inspirational stitching, which leads me to this is what I did yesterday, and I apologize. I'm not going to sit here and do this again. I can't. So let's talk. Now that you know what I did, I feel so foolish, but I'm not going to name call myself because I tell you not to, and I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to say that this week it's a little different. It's a show and tell. So I just showed you how to invisible baste 2 pieces of wonderful cloth together. I made an extra video for you. You'll see it right around the same time this one airs, maybe a little bit later, of how to do this 5-minute visual texture on your cloth. And let's talk about this for a second. Well, for a minute, couple minutes. So I thought it would be amazing on the scroll. Could somebody please come down here and clean up this mess for me? Because it's getting out of hand. Who lives near here? Anybody? All right, here's my scroll. So this is my thought. I told you already a lot of my thoughts this week. I'm having a lot of thoughts this week. But come on. Seriously, you know, this is what I'm thinking. To put this inspirational patch on here. And I'll probably put some stuff behind it still, even though it has 2 layers. But don't you love it? I love it. So, and that's really all that matters, is that I love it. No, it matters a lot that you love it. I want you to love it too. So here's what I did. I did use my wonderful circle template, and I'm going to put a link for that in the description box below, because so many of you have asked about it. It's this. I did use my circle template, and I just with a pencil did a circle, and then just did a running stitch. So this was inspired, of course, by the dots. Yes, I felt like I had to have something circular on here, and I just like that. So this is a patch when I'm feeling like I don't know what to do. I can come here and I can pick one of these things, and these are things I have seen on the internet, believe it or not, and have not tried myself. I have tried this one. And this is a little satin stitch, just little dots, satin stitch. You could just put so many of them there. This is back stitch under here. So this green line under here is all the back stitch, which, you know, I like that a lot. And then I just went over it. Now this would have looked fun if it had 2 different colors, but there you go. And each one of these is like a different color. So this, I really like this. I have seen, I mean, this is stupid simple, right? It's just running stitch, but it is tight together and not even. When I say not even, I mean, so this row, right? And so the next row doesn't sit right next to it, because we're going to look at this one in a second. And it feels so good, and I just love it. And I hope you can see it, because I did use kind of a weird thread. All right, this one, this is the back stitch. And I don't know why I did the box around it, to be honest. But this is just seed stitch, and I have done the seed stitch before, but I don't know why. I just felt like putting that there, so I did. And this one is just 3 plain stitches, like that. And it does look nice, and it's a nice border for things. This is like the opposite of this. So this one is a running stitch, right? But when you go to do the next row, you try to keep them the same at the same place. So what it does, and you'll notice, it creates these little hills in there. So it actually pinches the fabric. I have always loved this stitch. So if you had something here, let's just say you had a dot here, okay? Because we're all going dot crazy. So say you have a dot here. Wait, there's a dot right here. Of course there's a dot on my table. There's a dot there. And then you went and you radiated out from the dot. You wouldn't do it as long if your square is small, and you would maybe use a smaller dot. But I don't know. I don't really know what would happen to the surrounding cloth on the square, but I'm going to try it. And then I'll get back to you. But anyway, I always love this. It feels so good because it's like bumpy ridges. And this one is just a crisscross, okay? It's a crisscross, but if you put it like this, like if I hold it like that, it's also an X. You know, the X's and O's. So that's why I didn't do X's too. Just did crisscross. This one is just a split back stitch, which I love, and I always forget about it because I'm so busy doing the back stitch. So anyway, this is my inspirational patch for this week. I'm so sorry that you didn't get to see me create it, but I hope you did enjoy my deconstruction of the scroll. And I hope if you're doing a scroll that you'll consider, you know, adding some more magagi on yours and maybe cutting it up if you have to. All right, I'm going to end it there. I didn't give you a whole lot of stories, but I did give you a couple of good ones. So I just want to say, keep moving, just play. No rules, right? It's obvious that there's no rules in my life. And find something to be grateful for today. And I am always grateful for you. Unbelievably grateful. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you so much to my old subscribers for hanging in there with me all this time. I love you guys so, so much. And I will see you again in a few days. Bye for now.